All right. I want to discuss getting wrecked. Okay. I want to discuss a bad day I had. I said I was going to talk about this. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Okay. Let's talk about mistakes, what happened and why, and what I did to correct it and actually pull myself out of it for one of the first times in a long time. So let's go ahead and come over to this. Doesn't look. Oh, okay. Hold on. Hold on. That one is being copied. So let's move on over to the actual account. Boom, here we go. Okay, okay. So what we had, let's go back to all time on this funded. And as you can see, nice steady climb, things looking good, kind of a flat day, moving up, and then bam, okay? What I want to discuss is what happened on this day, okay? And let me show you something. Okay. If you don't have the mental game of trading, you need to get it. All right. That book is what helped me understand what was going on. Also, The Best Loser Wins by Tom. All right. So, how did I erase like 4 days, 5 days of work in one day? All right. So, I was actually looking back for my chart executions inside of Top Step X, but I think they only saved them for so long. So, they're not there anymore. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm just pulling up a random range that kind of reminds me of what happened. Um, I really wish I had the chart executions to show you, but basically I came into the day and I was super excited, right? Like, I mean, you start pulling numbers like that, you're getting ready to pull a payout and, you're stoked, right? And so I'm trying to catch a move, all right? And it was on a day that I was looking at some liquidity, like down here, right? I was looking at higher time frame, upper level liquidity, like up here, okay? And so I was looking for this. And I was looking for a long or a short, and I was waiting for the market to tell me what to do. All right. But what ended up happening in this day is I just got ultra aggressive, right? I dropped to a low time frame so that way I could maybe risk a little bit extra to get a little bit more, and my stop losses were too tight. Okay. I'm telling you, this I've worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of traders. I've had so many DMs about this kind of stuff. All right. So at first we get this initial push up, right? And so I'm like, okay, cool. I want a long, right? So I drop a short on the thing here. Let's do this. Long, bam. Okay, boom. We long this bad boy. I go ahead and drop this. Below the last point down here. These are 5-minute candles. I'm shooting for my point of liquidity. That's even a little high. So maybe I'm shooting for this point of liquidity right here. This is a made up range, guys. I'm just telling you behaviorally what I did that day. And so I enter this long, and shebang, right? Get stomped out. Okay, not a big deal. This happens all the time. And there's many times that I'll even pull like a reversal out of it and be like, okay, well, no big deal. Let me, flip my bias, which I really don't have bias anymore. I don't play by bias. And so let's just say like we flip here and we get this long, you know, engulfing candle right here. Okay. And then what did I do? I took a short. All right. Stop above the high, and I'm shooting for my liquidity, right? And so what ends up happening is bang, get stomped out again. Okay. So now what am I feeling? I'm feeling a tad bit frustrated. At the time, I was not paying attention, to what I was feeling. And so what did I do? I see this kind of move and it starts pushing up, and I'm like, cool, let me take my long, stop below, target up here, hoorah, hoorah, right? So that's what's going on this day. Okay. Now, usually, if this happens, guys, and this does happen to me, okay, I'm just done. Okay. I'm done. I take two, maybe three swings. Done. If I miss all three, I'm out. All right. And then what originally ends up happening, or what happens next, is at this point, I'm feeling extremely frustrated. Okay. So what did I do? Of course, I got out of the market like I should have, no problem, Of course, no, that's not what I did, okay? I'm just being 100% honest with you. I took another short, right? I see more candles coming down. I see another candle coming down. And of course, the market was looking exactly the way I would like it in the other trades. But this is just some random range, and I shoot for my liquidity, and boom, I get hit again. Okay, so here's the thing: this trade I had doubled down, so I risk like like $200, $200, $200. I was down $600. Okay, $600 loss for the day is not that big a deal. It hurts, but it's not big. Okay. Problem is I doubled down here. All right. So now I'm risking 400. Okay. So 600 plus 400 is 1,000. So I got slammed. All right. And then again, I ended up trying to take a long position like off of here as soon as we got stopped out. And what did I do? I'm doubling down. Okay, so I risk another like $400. And actually, I think one of these got stopped at break even because I was like, I need to protect my losses, and got stopped. And I'm pretty sure it was this short right here. And so as it goes, we ended up getting stopped out again right here. So now I'm like up, like, or down like $1,200. Okay. So one, I kind of broke my rules of the 2-3 loss. 2-3 losses is usually all I need to take a swing. I don't need more than that. I don't need to keep going. I don't need to overtrade. The problem is I started double downing here, and that really, really, really hurt. And that's when you see this, right? Because a $600 loss, right, would have maybe put me like right here. Okay, so let's cut the loss here and then move all of this here. Okay, and I would be up in the like $3,000 profit range. Okay, but I ended up giving away all of this out of pure emotion and revenge trading. Okay, so like I said, if you haven't read Mental Game of Trading, Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogarth, you got to if you're serious about this, you got to get these books. All right, but this is how it happened, right? So now at this point, I'm on full tilt. Okay. And tilt is a problem I have because I have a problem being wrong. And when you're wrong, 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 and you did something wrong, I doubled down on these. See, the problem was in the past, I was a master revenge trader. And that solidified behavior in me that I can make it back. And there's a huge percentage that I can. But the problem is I have to really like start double, triple downing. And eventually I hit that W. And because it's such a big, risk, I get it all back. And maybe I break even or maybe even make money. Okay. But to have consistency like this, you're not doing that. You're not double, triple downing. You're staying within your appropriate risk parameters. Now, I'm not saying I risk the same every trade. Some trades I feel better about, and I'll risk a little bit more. Some trades I'm like, I see some confirmation, but there's no red folder. I'm not expecting a huge move today. So maybe I'll risk half, right? So I risk like 75 or something like that, right? I hope this is making sense, guys, because this was huge. So I went on complete full tilt. Now, in my mind, here I am sitting here, right? I maybe have like, because I pulled a payout on this. It usually shows down here, but it's not showing. It's kind of weird. Sometimes it shows, sometimes it doesn't. But you can see the current account balance is lower than my high because I've pulled payouts. So I knew I only had like 400 to go. Right? So like one more big loss, and I told myself like, just go for it. Who cares? If you smoke this account, smoke it. Do it. And that's where my mind was. So here I am on the 5-loss streak, because I was not putting my stop where it should be. I was not paying attention. I end up closing a trade out too early. Seriously, every mistake in the book is what I made that day. And honestly, if I had traded like I normally did, it would have been like loss, and it would have been big win. Okay. But sometimes behaviorally we don't follow our plan to the best of our ability. Okay. I was not at my A game. If you read the book, your A game, B game, C game, I was really rocking a C game that day. And that's what threw me on tilt. So at this point, I'm on tilt. And I say, I need to just go for it. I need to just put all the risk on the table for this next trade. And then I said, this is literally what I told myself. Am I being the trader I want to be? That's literally what I said. Am I the trader I want to be? And I said, this is a no. These three, yeah, I really didn't play them like I should have, but these were still within my B game, right? Like kind of moving into C game, but I should have stopped. Okay. I should have just stopped right here. Um, I did call this day a W in my journal because it was the first time ever that I had pulled myself out on full tilt. Okay. First time ever that I had tilted completely and then decided to tilt back. All right. So I talked to my crew. We talked about the journaling that I did, and we talked about these trades in that day. And I said, I'm calling it a W because here I decided I'm not being the trader I want to be. So I'm going to stop. And I stopped and I closed the charts and I said, it's okay. Sometimes this happens. Sometimes you want to revenge trade, especially with me, because I have a huge past of revenge trading that's been successful. All right. And the problem with that, though, is like you're literally throwing everything down the line. And so I ended up pulling back on this and pretty much right away, let's see, this was the 8th and then this was the 9th. So the very next day, I got back on track and I started to focus the appropriate risk and I started climbing again. Okay. And so last week, I didn't trade and I decided not to because I was traveling and I had a lot of other things I was doing. I had other projects I was working on and I didn't want to give the market like 10% of my brain. Okay, so I just wrote the whole week off. And that's something I've had to work on because it's like I have that like FOMO really, but it's not like FOMO in the one trade, it's the FOMO for the week. Like, dude, I'm missing a whole week of profits. How can I handle that? How, Come on, man, really? Is one week going to break my entire year's worth of trading? Of course not. All right. So these are the kinds of things I wanted to share with you. I wanted to give you an open and honest and very transparent view of my trading. Um, it looks like I could actually pull a payout now. Oh, I actually didn't know that. I just might pull a payout. Anyway, all right. I looked up and I saw a total of 10. That means I can actually pull another payout. Didn't trade today either. I had a big meeting, needed to take care of that. That was more important. Um, so some of the key takeaways I want to share with you guys is I'm serious about day trading psychology, and it's not like I'm just putting that into some like, oh, master your feelings or numb your feelings so they don't exist. No, be able to understand how you feel and why. Sometimes when you interject the logic into why you're feeling a certain way, you're able to bring logic to that decision making that you otherwise wouldn't have had. Okay, that's huge. I'm telling you, that's huge. Okay, for me, coming in and these final trades that never should have happened, I gave away like an extra, I don't even know, like $800 right here, right? Which, to say like $800 is like not that much because a lot of times I risk more than that depending on my account and where it's at. As I ramp up, yeah, I'm gonna start risking more. I'll start risking 300, 400, 500 per trade, 800, and as that scales, I risk more. But that's the appropriate risk for the amount I have in the account. Risking $400 in this trade, $400 in that trade, when I only had like $1,200 more of drawdown to blow the account, that's not okay risk. All right. To me, mathematically, that's how you figure out how much to risk. If you have $1,000 in your account and you're blowing the account is at zero, you have $1,000. Okay. You should not risk $1,000 on the next trade because you lose it. You lose that one trade, you're gone. Okay. I would say 150, right? Give yourself like 7 losses, right? Take your win rate and figure out like what is the max losing streak you can go on. For me, usually, I almost never see 7 losses in a row unless I'm doing, dumb stuff like this. Okay. And, so that's the way I do it, right? As I build up and as this account grows and grows and grows, then I will risk a little bit more and more and more, but I always make sure I'm at that like even 7 to 10 losses, right? And that keeps the account under control. So if you guys are serious about your day trading, take the psychology of it serious. I really recommend Tom Hogard and Jared Tendler's books. They give a balanced, professional view of psychology, and it's not just, hoopla or feel good or any of that, hokiness. It's just straight to the point, talks about our natural human instincts and behavior and the way our brains work, and then maybe what we can do to rewire it, how we can recognize certain behavior. This was a huge W for me. I've never ever pulled out of tilt like that. Once I've hit this point right here where I am like, I'm going to I'm going to make it or break it, I've never come back from that. And I know that's hard to say because I've been trading a long time. And a lot of times I'm successful in doing this, and I save the account and I walk away like, phew, I shouldn't have done that, but I'm glad I'm glad, I'm glad I did it because now I have my account back to where it was or plus some. Usually it's plus some. Okay. But I decided that I don't want to trade like that anymore. That I want to trade like an actual professional trader. All right. So I really hope this video has been helpful for you. This is me just bearing it out, being honest, and I'll keep making videos like this. I actually have a few more on my list today that I'm going to make, and I'll release them on other days. But, drop a subscribe, a like, whatever. Send this to somebody, if you think it's going to help them. And I'll see you guys in the next video.